Hey everyone! Today, you get to learn about 3 common plant systems. Hello world, I'm Christopher Rodriguez. I'm one of the creators of Animals in Time, and I'm here to give you a 24-part video series describing common scientific topics in ways everyone can understand. I'll be giving you the what, the how, and the why you should care about all these topics. Now, this 24-part series will correspond with Animals in Time Volume 1. However, you do not need to be using Animals in Time resources to benefit from these videos. So, let's get started. Okay, so what are plant systems anyway? Well, they're just processes that plants have that help them survive. We humans, we have the digestive system, the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, the lymphatic system, the endocrine system. Yeah, they all have pretty complicated names. Fortunately, there are only 3 plant systems: photosynthesis, respiration, and transpiration. For this video, it is my great pleasure to announce Dr. SYLVIA CHEN, a biochemist and an amazing teacher. She's the one who taught me science. And if you think I'm smart, you obviously haven't met her yet. You won't be hearing quite as many of my hilarious jokes, or maybe that's a good thing, but you are going to learn so much. It's going to be awesome. So, without further ado, please give Mrs. Chen a huge round of applause. Hi, Mrs. Chen. It's so nice to have you here.
Thanks, Christopher. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, all right. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about. Plant systems.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We have photosynthesis, cellular respiration, and transpiration. So first, let's talk about photosynthesis. What is it, first of all?
All right. Well, that's a very loaded question, Christopher, because it's a lot. It's a big question.
It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. It's a series of reactions that basically plants do just to take sun energy and turn it into food energy. Other than sun energy, plants also need water and carbon dioxide to do this process. But in the end, you get probably one of your favorite molecules, sugar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So then, where does this take place in the plant? Does this take place all over the place or just certain parts?
Yeah, good question. Well, I like to think about photosynthesis. I think a good example is thinking about the solar panels that we tend to put on the roofs of our houses. And you know how the solar panels are trying to collect energy and transform it into electricity that we can use in our houses, right?
Right.
So in the same way, plants are basically going to be putting out the things that they need to collect their light energy, their sun energy. So they tend to put it out in those thin leaves, numerous thin leaves, as many as they can. They're super efficient, and they put it high up on themselves so that they can collect as much sun energy as they can.
Wow, that's really smart. It's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. And now also, some of the systems we'll be talking about, they can occur in sometimes just plants or sometimes plants and animals. So how about photosynthesis? Does this just take place in plants? Do plants just do it?
Yeah, all right. I would say mostly plants are doing it. And just as a side note, we often associate plants, they're green. And you probably talked to them about how in that chloroplast, the chloroplast is a green organelle that's sitting inside a plant cell. The reason it's green is because it has this pigment called chlorophyll.
Oh, wow.
That's what's absorbing the light. All right, so wherever you see green in a living organism, you can kind of think, all right, that's probably absorbing the sun energy and doing the photosynthesis. However, I'll share with you also that there are lots of other pigments, like there's red pigments, orange, yellow, and they also are absorbing light. So some of you might have like a Japanese maple. That's one of my favorite trees. It is a tree that just has red leaves. And so it's not a green plant, it's a red plant.
Wow.
And yet it is also doing photosynthesis using a red pigment to absorb light energy. Now, I don't know if I answered your question, Christopher. Let me think. You were asking, does it only occur in plants? Okay, yes, the answer is that it occurs mostly in plants. There are some bacteria.
Okay.
That's the only other organisms I can kind of think off the top of my head that aren't plants that are also doing some photosynthesis.
Okay, so then how about cellular respiration? It's another big word. What does that
Yeah.
do?
All right, cellular respiration. So I think of it as the opposite of photosynthesis.
Oh, okay.
So in photosynthesis, right, they're taking light energy and transforming it into sugars. Well, in cellular respiration, we're taking the sugar now and we're going to transform it back into energy.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
all right, but we don't change it into sun energy again. Okay, so that we can't do, but we
Hmm.
do change it into an energy that our cells can use, and that's called ATP.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I like to think of ATP as a power molecule of this
Hmm.
cell.
Interesting. Okay. So then, we said that photosynthesis mainly takes place in the leaves of a plant, but how about cellular respiration? Where does that take place?
All right. Well, okay, so cellular respiration is going to take place all over the plant.
Hmm.
So while photosynthesis, you're absolutely right, only occurs in the leaves where the plant is green, where the plant is getting exposed to the sun. Cellular respiration is occurring through from the top of the tree all the way down to its roots.
Whoa.
Every cell of that plant needs to make energy. And so every one of them will be doing cellular respiration.
Wow. That's so cool. Okay, so then we said that photosynthesis is mostly just plants do it, but how about cellular respiration? How does that how does that work?
Yeah, good question. So, right. So, just as photosynthesis is kind of limited to those green leaves, cellular respiration, is throughout the whole plant.
Hmm.
Well, cellular respiration is occurring throughout this entire world. So, you are
Oh,
doing it.
wow.
I am doing it. Every living thing needs to unlock the energy in food to make usable energy for itself.
One more system to go.
Okay.
What about transpiration?
Transpiration. This is an amazing thing that plants do. So, transpiration, simply put, is just how a plant is able to draw up water from its roots and get it to all the leaves in it. And
Okay.
the reason I say it's amazing is because I often do think about the redwoods in California, and they are
Right.
these enormously tall trees.
Yeah, they're
And yet,
huge.
yeah, somehow they are able to get the water from the roots all the way up to the very top of themselves into those leaves. It takes incredible power, right, to
Hmm.
bring the water all the way from the roots to the very tip top of trees.
Right.
And you know where the power actually comes from? It's amazing. So at the bottom of every leaf are these numerous little tiny holes,
Okay.
muscular holes, if you want to call
Hmm.
them that, because they
Because they kind
actually.
of open and close, right?
Exactly. They will open and close. And when they open, water will evaporate out of that.
Oh, wow.
And it's that evaporation that actually pulls the water up from the roots all the way up.
That's
It is
crazy.
it is amazing. It
That's
is amazing.
amazing. Wow. That's so cool. All right. So now let me just ask you a question. We've talked about photosynthesis, cellular respiration, and transpiration so far. But which one is your favorite?
Wow. All right. They are all up there. I will have to
Hmm.
say that. I would have to say my favorite is going to have to be, since I love all three, all right,
Hmm.
I think all three are fascinating. All three work together too. You can't really have one and not the other two.
Hmm.
If you make me pick one, I'm going to have to say photosynthesis.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I suspect this is the first one that God actually made.
Hmm.
Um, on day 3, he made the plants
Right.
on earth. And so, and it is the plants that are able to harness that sun energy and turn it really into food for the rest of us on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what probably started it. So I'm going to have to go with photosynthesis.
Wow, yeah, it's so cool. It's so amazing. You know so much about plants. Thank you so
Well,
much.
there's so much more to learn.
Yeah, definitely. You just keep learning, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was so great to have you. See, isn't she amazing? There's no way you can talk to her and not learn something new. Plus, let's be honest, her background was so much better than mine. So, if you're ever looking for a science teacher, don't ask me, ask her. So, the three main plant systems are photosynthesis, cellular respiration, and transpiration. Next week, I'll tell you about the parts of the geosphere, whatever that is. Wait a minute! You can't touch me. I just had a guest star on my YouTube channel. You can't touch me.